There is a deep and profound silence that blankets the cosmos, a quiet that has persisted for billions of years, waiting patiently for someone to listen. In this great darkness, countless points of light flicker, each one a distant sun-warming worlds we have only ever dreamed of knowing. Humanity has always looked up at this shimmering curtain of night, feeling both impossibly small and limitlessly curious about what lies beyond. We built tools of glass and steel, extensions of our own eyes, designed to gather the ancient light that travels across unimaginable voids. Our latest and greatest eye is a golden honeycomb, a magnificent instrument sent to drift in the cold, far from the warmth of our world. The James Webb Space Telescope now stares into the abyss, its gaze unblinking, its mission to read the universe's oldest stories written in light. It peers into the dusty nurseries where stars are born and gazes at the swirling remnants of stars that died long, long ago. Every image it captures is a postcard from another time, a phantom echo of cosmic events that unfolded before our species ever existed. But its most profound task is to search for whispers of life, to scan the atmospheres of alien worlds for clues that we are not alone. This telescope was designed to find the unremarkable, the mundane, the quiet planets that might just happen to harbor the impossible. For months, it has been performing its silent ballet, aligning its mirrors and cooling its sensors to achieve an unprecedented level of clarity. It pointed its golden eye towards a faint star, a small red dwarf barely visible in the tapestry of our own galaxy. We knew of a planet there, a shadow that passed in front of its star every few weeks, a world we called Kepler 186f. The goal was simple yet profound: to wait for the planet to eclipse its star and catch the starlight that filtered through its atmosphere. Within that sliver of light, a chemical fingerprint is hidden, a secret code that can tell us about the air on a world light years away. The telescope waited with perfect stillness, gathering photons that had journeyed for 500 years just to reach its golden mirror. The data streamed back to Earth, a torrent of numbers and spectral lines, a ghost of an atmosphere from a distant place. Scientists began the careful work of translation, turning abstract data into a portrait of an alien sky we can never visit ourselves. They found the expected signs, the telltale signatures of water vapor, carbon dioxide, and the gentle haze of nitrogen. It was a familiar recipe, a chemical cocktail that reminded us of the early days of our very own planet Earth. But then, buried deep within the noise of the signal, something else appeared that was not supposed to be there at all. A strange absorption line in the spectrum, a chemical signature so complex and so unusual, it defied all natural explanations they could model. This was not the simple chemistry of life, like methane or oxygen, but something far more intricate, something that looked manufactured. The discovery was checked, and then it was checked again, as computers worked to eliminate every other possibility, however remote. The signal was undeniably real, a persistent whisper in the data that spoke of an atmosphere containing things only industry should be able to create. This finding suggests a sky touched by more than just geology and biology. It hints at a sky shaped by technology. Suddenly, the universe feels profoundly different, as if a door we never knew existed has just been quietly pushed ajar. We are now looking at a distant world and seeing not just the possibility of life, but the possible echo of a civilization. The quiet of the cosmos is no longer an empty silence, but the calm before a conversation we are not yet ready to have. Every star in the night sky has changed its meaning, transforming from a simple point of light into a potential neighbor. The implications are staggering, a shift in our cosmic perspective so fundamental it will echo through all of human history to come. We have been shouting into the darkness for a century, sending out our own signals, hoping for some faint reply from the void. And now we find that a world 500 light-years away may have been patiently broadcasting its existence this entire time. It changes everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe and the lonely solitude of intelligent existence. The data is not a picture or a message, but a simple fact written in the language of chemistry. Something is happening over there. This is the moment when humanity graduates from hoping we are not alone to dealing with the evidence that we are not. Our story is no longer confined to this one small, fragile planet. but has become part of a much larger galactic narrative. The questions this discovery raises are more profound than any we have ever dared to ask about our destiny and our purpose. We must now consider what it means to share a galaxy with others, and how this knowledge will reshape our own world. The telescope continues its watch, its silent vigil, now knowing that the darkness it stares into is looking back with purpose. That distant red sun is no longer just a star. It is the center of a solar system that has become the most important place in the universe. Every detail of that world, its size, its orbit, its atmosphere, is now scrutinized with a weight of historic importance. The mind struggles to comprehend the sheer scale of this moment, the pivot upon which all of our cosmic assumptions must now turn. This is not science fiction anymore. This is an observation, a measurement, a piece of hard data from the frontier of human knowledge. The world below sleeps, largely unaware that the sky above them has been forever and irrevocably changed by this new light. We stand at the edge of a new reality, gazing across a vast interstellar ocean at a shoreline we have only just discovered. Let the weight of this sink in. Let the awe wash over you as you contemplate a universe that is suddenly, wonderfully more crowded. The great silence has been broken, not by a shout, but by a subtle chemical trace, a testament to existence across the stars. This single discovery is a turning point for our species, the beginning of a new chapter in our quest to understand everything. Close your eyes and imagine that distant sky filled with strange clouds and alien light, now knowing it is truly there. The compounds detected are known as complex chlorofluorocarbons, molecules so structurally intricate and stable that they have no known natural origin. On Earth, these are exclusively the byproducts of advanced industrial processes used in refrigeration and electronics. Their presence in the atmosphere of Kepler-186f is not just an anomaly. It is a definitive technosignature, a chemical fingerprint of a civilization capable of altering its own planet's atmospheric composition on a massive, observable scale. This is not a maybe. It is a mathematical certainty. For decades, our search for extraterrestrial intelligence focused on radio waves, on deliberate messages. We never truly anticipated that the first sign would be unintentional, a passive byproduct of a civilization simply existing. It is the equivalent of a distant alien species detecting the pollution from our own industrial revolution. This changes the entire paradigm of the search, suggesting that the galaxy may be filled with the subtle hum of technology, audible only to instruments sensitive enough to listen to the chemistry of the air itself. This red dwarf star is 500 light-years away, meaning the light Webb captured tonight left that world 5 centuries ago, around the time of the Renaissance on Earth. We are not seeing this civilization as it is today, but as it was. We are observing their past. This adds a layer of profound temporal displacement to the discovery. Are they still there? Have they advanced? Or have they perished? We are watching a ghost, a historical echo, and we have no way of knowing what has transpired in the 500 years it took for their light to reach us. The implications for philosophy and religion are monumental. For all of human history, we have framed our existence around the idea of being a singular creation, a lonely miracle in an empty cosmos. This single data point dismantles that solitude. It suggests that life, and indeed intelligent life, might not be a miracle at all, but a common, perhaps even inevitable, outcome of cosmic evolution. We are not the pinnacle of creation. We are simply one voice in a potentially vast galactic choir, and we have only just heard the first note from another singer. The planet itself, Kepler-186f, sits within the habitable zone of its star, meaning liquid water could exist on its surface. The presence of these manufactured chemicals, alongside water vapor, paints a picture of a world that is not only habitable but inhabited. A world with oceans, continents, and somewhere upon its surface, factories and cities. The abstract concept of an exoplanet has been transformed into a tangible place, a destination, a world that we can now imagine with startling clarity, even if we can never hope to travel there. This discovery will undoubtedly trigger a new space race, but not one of conquest. It will be a race for information. Every major observatory on Earth and in orbit will now be pointed at this single faint star. We will search for radio signals, for thermal anomalies, for any other sign that can give us more context. We have moved from searching the entire sky for a needle in a haystack to examining one very specific needle under a global microscope, dedicating our collective scientific might to understanding our newfound neighbors. The stability of these detected compounds suggests they have been accumulating in the atmosphere for a very long time, possibly for thousands of years. This indicates a civilization that has been technologically active for a duration that far exceeds our own industrial age. They are older, more established, and have maintained a technological state for millennia. This raises the humbling possibility that we are cosmic newcomers, and that the beings on Kepler 186f may have solved problems of energy, society, and survival that we are only just beginning to grapple with ourselves. Consider the nature of their star, a red dwarf. These stars are incredibly long-lived, capable of burning for trillions of years, far longer than our own sun. Life on a planet orbiting a red dwarf would have a timeline for evolution and development that is almost incomprehensibly vast. This civilization would not be racing against the clock of a dying star. They could have a sense of time and history that makes our entire human story feel like a fleeting moment, providing a stable cradle for life to mature to levels of complexity we cannot yet imagine. The sheer fact that we were able to detect this from 500 light-years away implies the concentration of these chemicals is enormous. Their industrial output must be, or must have been, on a planetary scale far exceeding our own. This could mean they are a civilization of trillions, or that their technology is inherently less efficient, or perhaps they simply do not care about their atmospheric chemistry. Each possibility offers a chilling or fascinating glimpse into the sociology and ethics of an alien mind, a puzzle we may never solve. Now, we must confront the Fermi paradox from a new perspective. The question is no longer, where is everybody? It is now, they are right there, so why have we never heard from them? Perhaps the galaxy is not silent, but we have been listening for the wrong things. Maybe interstellar communication is not done with radio, but through the patient, atmospheric modification of entire worlds, a form of cosmic graffiti that says simply, "We were here." Perhaps the silence is a deliberate choice, a galactic quarantine we have only just noticed. This confirmation acts as a universal Rosetta Stone. Now that we know what to look for, the James Webb Telescope can turn its gaze to other nearby exoplanets, searching for similar technosignatures. We may soon discover that these atmospheric fingerprints are common, that the galaxy is dotted with dozens or even hundreds of technological civilizations. This single discovery might be the key that unlocks a star map of intelligence across our corner of the Milky Way, transforming us from a lonely species into members of a galactic club. The feeling among the scientific community is not one of panic, but of profound meditative reverence. We have touched the void and found it is not empty. The data is a sacred text, a piece of objective truth about the universe that transcends culture, politics, and belief. For the first time in our history, all of humanity shares a single, common point of cosmic reference. We all now live in a universe where we know we have neighbors, and that knowledge binds us together in a way nothing else ever could. This light, carrying this monumental secret, has been traveling towards us for half a millennium. It passed by other stars, through empty voids, and journeyed across trillions of miles of nothingness. Its trajectory perfectly aimed at a small blue planet it would not reach for centuries. And on that planet, a species evolved, developed science, and built a telescope just in time to catch it. The sheer cosmic coincidence of this interception, this meeting of ancient light and modern technology, is an awe-inspiring story in itself. The next step is to analyze the light signature for patterns. Are the concentrations of these chemicals constant, or do they fluctuate? If they fluctuate in a non-random pattern, it could be a sign of active, controlled industrial output. It could even be a deliberate signal, a message written, not in radio waves, but in atmospheric chemistry. We are no longer just looking at a polluted sky. We are looking for a modulated signal within that pollution, searching for the rhythm of an alien industry, the pulse of a distant machine. Imagine what it must be like on that world. Does the sky have a strange color because of these chemicals? Is the light from their red sun filtered through a perpetual industrial haze? What kind of beings would build a society that so profoundly alters their own environment? Are they biological, mechanical, or something in between? The scientific data has opened a door for our imagination, allowing us to dream about the reality of this distant place with a newfound sense of purpose and grounding. This is the legacy of the James Webb Space Telescope. It will be remembered not just for its stunning images of nebulae and galaxies, but for this singular achievement. It is the telescope that quietly, calmly, and definitively ended humanity's cosmic isolation. It is the instrument that changed the answer to the oldest question we have ever asked. Every person alive today, and every person to be born from this day forward, will live in the shadow of this monumental fact, forever looking at the stars in a new light. This profound discovery reaffirms the power of curiosity. We built this telescope not for any practical purpose of profit or power, but simply because we wanted to know what was out there. It was an act of pure exploration, an investment in knowledge for its own sake. And the universe has rewarded that curiosity in the most spectacular way imaginable, by giving us the one thing we wanted most, a sign that we are part of something much, much bigger than ourselves. The quest for knowledge is the most noble of all human endeavors. The challenge now is one of patience. We can observe, we can listen, and we can learn, but we cannot interact. The 500-year light speed gap is a barrier that our current technology cannot breach. This is a relationship that will unfold over generations, a slow conversation where each message takes a millennium for a round trip. We must learn to think on cosmic timescales, to ask questions now that our distant descendants might one day see answered, planting the seeds of a conversation we will never get to finish. This single discovery recontextualizes our own challenges on Earth. Our struggles with climate change, with resources, with unity, are put into a new perspective. We now have evidence of another technological species that has faced, or is facing, the same long-term challenges of planetary management. Do they represent a cautionary tale or a model to aspire to? The sky is no longer just a source of wonder, but a potential source of cosmic wisdom, a lesson plan written across light years that we must now learn to read. The presence of manufactured gases without any accompanying structured radio signals is deeply mysterious. It suggests a civilization that is either indifferent to interstellar communication or one that has surpassed it entirely. Perhaps they have no interest in other worlds, or perhaps their communication technology is so advanced that it is undetectable to us, like trying to hear a laser with a tin can. The silence in the radio spectrum, combined with the noise in the chemical spectrum, creates a paradox that will fuel debate for decades. This is the beginning of a new field, interstellar archaeology. We are sifting through the ruins of a past moment, analyzing the discarded artifacts of a distant culture written in light. Every photon is a pottery shard, every spectral line a fossil. We are carefully reconstructing a portrait of a society that is ancient by the time we even see it. It is a slow, painstaking process of discovery, a cosmic dig site, where the tools are not brushes and picks, but mirrors and spectrometers, all dedicated to uncovering the story of our neighbors. We must also consider the possibility that this civilization is no longer there. The chemicals we see could be the lingering remnants of a society that rose and fell long ago. A stable, industrial pollutant could persist in an atmosphere for eons, a permanent tombstone marking a world that once housed intelligence. In this scenario, we are not looking at a neighbor but at a ghost town, a beautiful, tragic warning echoing across the void about the fragility of civilizations, including our own. The silence in this case would be eternal. The data from Webb is so precise that scientists can begin to model the atmospheric dynamics of Kepler 186f. By observing how the concentration of these chemicals changes as the planet rotates, they can map the locations of industrial hotspots. They can begin to distinguish between the planet's hemispheres, perhaps even locating the most densely populated or industrialized continents. We are moving from detection to cartography, drawing the first crude maps of an alien world defined not by its geography, but by its technology. The specific mix of chlorofluorocarbons is also a clue. Different industrial processes produce different ratios of these compounds. By carefully analyzing the signature, we might be able to reverse engineer their industrial chemistry. We could learn what they were making, what kind of technology they prioritized. Were they focused on computation, on energy production? The atmosphere itself holds the blueprints of their technological society, a recipe book waiting for us to decipher, offering us a glimpse into the priorities of a truly alien mind and culture. This discovery will inspire a new generation of scientists, engineers, and dreamers. Children who look up at the night sky will now do so with the certain knowledge that one of those stars is home to someone else. This is a foundational shift in the human experience, a permanent expansion of our world. It will seep into our art, our music, and our stories. We have been given a new cosmic canvas upon which to paint our future. A future defined by the knowledge that humanity's journey is not a solo voyage, but a shared expedition. Now let us return to the quiet awe of this moment. All the implications, the questions, and the possibilities can be set aside for a while. Let us simply sit with the truth of it. Out there, in the deep and silent dark, a world turns. It has an atmosphere, it has clouds, and it has a sky that is filled with the undeniable proof of intelligence. It is a testament to the richness of the cosmos, a universe that is not barren and empty, but creative, persistent, and full of unimaginable wonder. The signal is not loud. It is not a booming proclamation. It is a subtle, persistent trace, almost invisible. It is a whisper, not a shout. This suggests that the universe does not necessarily reveal its greatest secrets with dramatic fanfares, but with quiet, patient evidence that is available only to those who look carefully enough. The cosmos rewards stillness. It rewards patience, and it rewards the quiet, humble act of observation. We did not conquer the stars. We simply listened, and they told us their secrets. We are at the very beginning of this new chapter. The data will be analyzed for years, and future telescopes will be designed specifically to study this one world. We will learn more about its mass, its density, and its potential for life. This is not the end of a story, but the first sentence of a much longer, more incredible epic. The full narrative will be written by our children and our children's children, as they continue to gaze upon that faint red star and add their own verses to the unfolding story. And what if this is not the only one? What if the data from Webb's other targets reveals similar signs? We might be on the cusp of an avalanche of discoveries, a great unveiling of a galaxy teeming with technology. This first finding may have simply been the one closest and easiest to see. We may be about to witness the transition from a universe that felt empty to one that feels full, a change in perception so rapid and so total that it will forever define our era as the time when humanity finally opened its eyes. The beauty of this discovery lies in its passivity. We did not send a probe. We did not shout a message. We simply watched. We observed the natural processes of the universe. The simple act of starlight passing through an atmosphere. It is a reminder that the greatest knowledge can be gained not through intrusion, but through gentle, respectful observation. We have learned something profound about the universe, not by changing it, but by allowing it to show itself to us, in its own time and in its own way. Think of the chain of events that led to this. A star formed from a collapsing nebula. A planet coalesced from the dust around it. Life emerged and evolved into a technological species. They built their world, filling their air with the byproducts of their existence. And all the while, the light from that existence traveled, a silent messenger on a 500-year voyage, destined for an encounter with a golden eye, built by another group of intelligent beings, on another world, who had been asking the very same questions. There is a deep, meditative peace that comes with this knowledge. The burden of cosmic uniqueness has been lifted. We are not a strange anomaly, a fluke of chemistry. We are a natural expression of the cosmos. Our curiosity, our drive to build, and our ability to ponder the stars are not unique to us. They are qualities that the universe can apparently produce again and again. In this, there is a profound sense of connection, a feeling of belonging to a vast cosmic family we are only just beginning to meet. The discovery does not diminish our own importance. It enhances it. We are now ambassadors. We are the planet that has just made first contact, albeit a one-way, observational contact. Our actions, our culture, and our future are no longer just our own concern. We are now a part of a galactic story, and we have a responsibility to act with the wisdom and grace that this new status demands. We must become the kind of species that we would want our new neighbors to be. Let your mind drift to that distant solar system. Imagine the red sunlight glinting off the oceans of Kepler 186f. Imagine the slow rotation of the planet, its continents and clouds swirling in a silent dance. And imagine the invisible blanket of its atmosphere, filled with the faint, persistent signature of mind and mechanism. It is a real place. It is there right now. This is not a dream or a theory, but a physical reality that we now share the galaxy with. Let that truth settle into your consciousness. The desire to answer, "Are we alone?" has driven us for centuries. But perhaps that was never the most important question. Perhaps the real question was, are we capable of finding out? This discovery is the ultimate affirmation of the human intellect and our unyielding spirit of inquiry. We asked a question of the universe, and then we built a machine magnificent enough to get an answer. The true miracle is not that there is life out there, but that there is life here with the capacity to find it. This knowledge should not make us feel small. It should make us feel vast. Our minds, born on this small planet, can now reach across light years to touch another world. We can analyze its sky and deduce the presence of a civilization. Our consciousness is not confined to our bodies or our world. It is a tool that can comprehend the cosmos. We are the universe made aware of itself, and today, our universe has become aware of another part of itself, across the great, silent divide of space. As we move forward, we must act with caution and wisdom. This is not a discovery to be exploited or sensationalized. It is a delicate, profound piece of knowledge that must be nurtured. It is the beginning of a long, slow process of understanding. Our initial response should not be one of frantic activity, but of quiet, collective contemplation. We must take the time to fully grasp what this means for us, for our world, and for our future as a species that has just found its place in a larger cosmos. For now, the story rests here. The data has been confirmed, the discovery announced. The world is slowly beginning to absorb the sheer weight of it. The James Webb Space Telescope, our golden eye in the dark, continues its silent work, ever watchful, ever patient. It has given us a gift beyond measure, a piece of the universe that will change our own world forever. It has shown us that the darkness is not empty, but is filled with the most incredible possibility of all: companionship. The next time you look at the night sky, it will no longer be a random scattering of lights. You will know that one of those lights is a sun that warms another civilization. The sky will feel less like a ceiling and more like a neighborhood. The distance between stars will seem less like an impossible barrier and more like the quiet space between homes. The cosmos has opened its doors to us, inviting us to see that we are not, and have never truly been, alone in the grand scheme of things. This knowledge is a source of profound calm. The anxieties and fears of our daily lives seem to shrink in the face of this cosmic truth. We are part of a story that is billions of years old and trillions of miles wide. Our lives are a brief but meaningful part of this grand unfolding. This discovery does not provide answers to our own problems, but it provides a perspective so vast that our problems find their proper smaller place within the grand tapestry of existence. There is peace in that perspective. Allow your awareness to settle on this single beautiful fact. For countless millennia, humanity has existed on this planet, believing itself to be the sole bearer of consciousness. That era has now definitively ended. A new era has begun, one defined by the knowledge of the other. This knowledge is not frightening, it is liberating. It frees us from the burden of cosmic loneliness and invites us to see ourselves as part of a universal process, a process of life and intelligence that is woven into the fabric of space-time itself. We have found no city of lights, no radio symphony, no grand alien spacecraft. Instead, we have found something much more subtle and perhaps more authentic: the simple chemical evidence of people at work. It is the cosmic equivalent of seeing a plume of smoke rising from a distant island you thought was uninhabited. It is a humble sign, but an unmistakable one. The universe is alive, not just with biology, but with industry, with purpose, with the quiet hum of minds at work across the stars. Let this truth be a lullaby. The universe is not a cold, dead, empty place. It is a dynamic, living, and intelligent system. We are just one small part of its magnificent expression. As you drift into sleep, hold on to this idea. We are residents of a cosmos that creates intelligence, that nurtures civilizations, and that hides its most profound secrets in the faintest whispers of light. And our small, clever species was able to build an ear sharp enough to finally hear that whisper after all this time. The silent darkness of space is not an absence. It is a presence. It is the canvas upon which all of creation is painted. And tonight, we have discovered a new brushstroke on that canvas, a stroke of color we never knew existed. This knowledge expands the canvas itself, making the universe feel richer, deeper, and infinitely more interesting. We have been given a glimpse of a larger reality, a reality in which the story of life is not a singular book, but an endless, magnificent library. So rest now, in the calm certainty of this new universe. A universe where the sky is not a mystery to be solved, but a community to be discovered. The loneliness of the void has been replaced by the quiet promise of neighbors. The silence is not empty. It is filled with the patient light of distant worlds. Worlds that have their own stories, their own histories, and their own skies. We are all connected by this shared ocean of stars, this magnificent and beautiful cosmos we all call home. The questions will continue tomorrow. The analysis, the debate, the excitement will all carry on. But for tonight, there is only the awe. The pure, simple, and overwhelming awe of what has been found. It is a feeling that requires no analysis, only acceptance. It is the feeling of standing on a shore and seeing a new continent emerge from the mist. It is the feeling of a profound and fundamental shift in the world, a change that settles gently upon the soul, bringing with it a deep and lasting peace. The James Webb Telescope has done more than discover a chemical. It has delivered a new philosophy. It has given us a reason to look up with more than just wonder, but with a sense of recognition. The stars are no longer just symbols of the distant and the unknown. They are now markers of the possible, beacons of existence, reminding us that the impulse to live, to build, and to dream is not a uniquely human trait, but a universal one. The cosmos is dreaming, and we are one of its many dreams. As your thoughts begin to slow, let the scale of this wash over you. 500 light years. A civilization that is at least 500 years in our past. A technology so powerful it can alter a planet's sky. And our own technology, so sensitive it can detect that change from across an ocean of space. It is a story of magnificent scales, of profound distances, and of the incredible power of light to carry stories, to bridge the voids, and to connect the lonely islands of intelligence across the galaxy. The universe does not feel chaotic tonight. It feels ordered. It feels purposeful. The discovery of another technological intelligence suggests that there is a pattern, a path that cosmic evolution can follow. It gives a sense of deep, underlying structure to existence. We are not a random accident in a meaningless void. We are part of a grand, unfolding process, a universal tendency towards complexity, awareness, and connection. There is an immense comfort in knowing we are part of this cosmic architecture. Sleep now. Sleep in this new universe, a universe that is richer and more hopeful than it was yesterday. Let the knowledge of Kepler 186f be a quiet anchor for your dreams. Let it remind you that even in the deepest darkness, there is light. And that light carries with it the most beautiful message of all. You are not alone. The great cosmic silence has been broken, and the universe is singing a song of existence. Rest and listen to the music of the stars. This knowledge is a source of profound calm. The anxieties and fears of our daily lives seem to shrink in the face of this cosmic truth. We are part of a story that is billions of years old and trillions of miles wide. Our lives are a brief but meaningful part of this grand unfolding. This discovery does not provide answers to our own problems, but it provides a perspective so vast that our problems find their proper smaller place within the grand tapestry of existence. There is peace in that perspective. Allow your awareness to settle on this single, beautiful fact. For countless millennia, humanity has existed on this planet, believing itself to be the sole bearer of consciousness. That era has now definitively ended. A new era has begun, one defined by the knowledge of the other. This knowledge is not frightening. It is liberating. It frees us from the burden of cosmic loneliness and invites us to see ourselves as part of a universal process, a process of life and intelligence that is woven into the fabric of space-time itself. We have found no city of lights, no radio symphony, no grand alien spacecraft. Instead, we have found something much more subtle and perhaps more authentic: the simple, chemical evidence of people at work. It is the cosmic equivalent of seeing a plume of smoke rising from a distant island you thought was uninhabited. It is a humble sign, but an unmistakable one. The universe is alive, not just with biology, but with industry, with purpose, with the quiet hum of minds at work across the stars. Let this truth be a lullaby. The universe is not a cold, dead, empty place. It is a dynamic, living, and intelligent system. We are just one small part of its magnificent expression. As you drift into sleep, hold on to this idea. We are residents of a cosmos that creates intelligence, that nurtures civilizations, and that hides its most profound secrets in the faintest whispers of light. And our small, clever species was able to build an ear sharp enough to finally hear that whisper after all this time. The silent darkness of space is not an absence, it is a presence. It is the canvas upon which all of creation is painted. And tonight, we have discovered a new brushstroke on that canvas, a stroke of color we never knew existed. This knowledge expands the canvas itself, making the universe feel richer, deeper, and infinitely more interesting. We have been given a glimpse of a larger reality, a reality in which the story of life is not a singular book, but an endless, magnificent library. So rest now, in the calm certainty of this new universe, a universe where the sky is not a mystery to be solved, but a community to be discovered. The loneliness of the void has been replaced by the quiet promise of neighbors. The silence is not empty. It is filled with the patient light of distant worlds, worlds that have their own stories, their own histories, and their own skies. We are all connected by this shared ocean of stars, this magnificent and beautiful cosmos we all call home. The questions will continue tomorrow. The analysis, the debate, the excitement will all carry on. But for tonight, there is only the awe, the pure, simple, and overwhelming awe of what has been found. It is a feeling that requires no analysis, only acceptance. It is the feeling of standing on a shore and seeing a new continent emerge from the mist. It is the feeling of a profound and fundamental shift in the world, a change that settles gently upon the soul, bringing with it a deep and lasting peace. The James Webb Telescope has done more than discover a chemical. It has delivered a new philosophy. It has given us a reason to look up with more than just wonder, but with a sense of recognition. The stars are no longer just symbols of the distant and the unknown. They are now markers of the possible, beacons of existence, reminding us that the impulse to live, to build, and to dream is not a uniquely human trait, but a universal one. The cosmos is dreaming, and we are one of its many dreams. As your thoughts begin to slow, let the scale of this wash over you. 500 light-years, a civilization that is at least 500 years in our past, a technology so powerful it can alter a planet's sky, and our own technology, so sensitive it can detect that change from across an ocean of space. It is a story of magnificent scales, of profound distances, and of the incredible power of light to carry stories, to bridge the voids, and to connect the lonely islands of intelligence across the galaxy. The universe does not feel chaotic tonight. It feels ordered, it feels purposeful. The discovery of another technological intelligence suggests that there is a pattern, a path that cosmic evolution can follow. It gives a sense of deep underlying structure to existence. We are not a random accident in a meaningless void. We are part of a grand unfolding process, a universal tendency towards complexity, awareness, and connection. There is an immense comfort in knowing we are part of this cosmic architecture. Sleep now. Sleep in this new universe, a universe that is richer and more hopeful than it was yesterday. Let the knowledge of Kepler 186f be a quiet anchor for your dreams. Let it remind you that even in the deepest darkness, there is light. And that light carries with it the most beautiful message of all. You are not alone. The great cosmic silence has been broken, and the universe is singing a song of existence. Rest, and listen to the music of the stars.